I think it is absolutely clear the energy world has changed. It has changed in the here and now, and to the point that Senator Risch made, you know, you can't undial this. You cannot take back the atrocities that we have seen perpetrated on the innocent people of Ukraine. You can't just say that once this war is ended, we're back to normal. There is no new normal. Well, there will be a new normal, but the normal will not be what we know today. So when we think about the disruption of a global pandemic and what that meant to energy, supply, and security, and then you overlay the war in Ukraine brought about by Russia, it is transformational in a way that I'm not sure that any one of you, as expertise as that you bring to the table, really can anticipate how we build this out in a way that is capable of really recognizing the change dynamic. And so you kind of look back when you're trying to figure out how you move forward. There is a little bit of a parallel historically when you think about the oil crisis of the 70s. Here in this country, we woke up and said, well, we have an opportunity to weigh in and make a difference here. We can produce more supply, and it was that very transformational decision in the mid-70s that allowed Alaska to help lead the country with building our oil pipeline from the north. It really helped to make a difference not only for the United States, but for our allies. It's been noted that Russia has just made this announcement that they are cutting production another 500,000 barrels a day. We have an opportunity in Alaska as we speak. The administration has just a matter of weeks to determine whether they're going to announce a final record of decision on a project up north, the Willow Project, that would provide for 180,000 barrels a day. That's real production. That's real production in the here and now. And yet there is some concern by the administration that perhaps the recommendation from their own agency might take them in a different direction, might take them in a direction where they either do not approve the Willow Project, or worse, it's kind of a sleight of hand and they approve it knowing that what they have changed results in an economically unviable project. That would be a travesty not only to Alaska, but to the country. And I think our allies who are wondering, we've got issues here that we're facing. Director General, you have noted the efforts that the European Union has taken to work through some very scary winter months and looking at next year. You think you can make it again, but our reality is that when we move to address the supply makes a difference. And so I haven't asked a question here, but I want to just make clear my message to you, Dr. Light. You may say that this is a decision within the Department of Interior and your energy, but you're also part of the administration, and I would kindly ask you to take back to the White House the imperative of what it can mean to bring on meaningful production in this country in an area where we are poised to refill that pipeline that we built in the mid-70s. I want to direct a question to you, Director General. I spent a lot of time with our Arctic partners. I was in Norway just recently, and they shared with me how they had really ramped up their production of natural gas to help offset Europe at this time of real crisis with supply. And it has been remarkable what they have been able to do just as one producing nation there. And when I asked them, well, how sustainable is this? If this continues, And again, we've got a new energy world in front of us. Can you continue to meet that demand? And it's not unlike what we face here. It's about the capacity. How do you move it through existing pipe? So my question to you is, have these discussions continued at a level where you are looking to the longer-term solutions of additional supply within Europe that can help move the European Unions forward?
Thank you, Senator. And indeed, we have had as an immediate focus to get through that first winter of crisis, that first year of the war, to make sure we got that securely. And I've outlined the mechanisms, the instruments we've given ourselves. The next focus was then in the coming years, the coming winter. How do we fill our storage for the coming winter? How do we put more renewables online, more alternative energy sources online? And how do we reduce our consumption so that we can help contribute also to stabilizing global markets? And the focus then is on the years after that. As I've said, the next winter looks encouraging. We have done what we can. We still have to be careful. There's no room for complacency, but we are prepared. If we look between now and 2030, we can see that global energy markets and the natural gas markets will remain tight. There will be some supply-demand gap, and so we need to respond to that together. Our planning in terms of how the energy system stays both secure, affordable, and sustainable goes to 2050 with the Green Deal plan for the changes in the system. And that includes all the different relevant energy sources. We have mentioned natural gas as part of that transition that will stay with us over the coming decades, significantly increased levels of renewables, continued nuclear as part of the European energy system, and a continued effort and investment into energy efficiency to lower consumption. So that long-term planning is very much part of what we do and part of what we do together with our member states. Each member state is responsible for its own energy mix, and each member state draws up a national energy and climate plan for how to achieve the targets for 2030 and beyond. So there's a close coordination as part of that. You mentioned Norway. We have seen significantly increased supplies from Norway, primarily of pipeline gas. We had, in the second half of last year, the very important opening of the Baltic pipe that transports natural gas from Norway to Poland. So that has been a very important contribution to making that part of Europe energy secure.
But we also recognize the vulnerability of those pipelines as well, something that the ranking member has focused on as well. Thank you, Madam Chairman. I'm well out of time.
Thank you. Senator